This is a video I'm very excited to make. This video is about the new TPT Red Range Fairway Wood shaft. The goal of TPT with this shaft was to have it feel like the driver shaft, have players be able to feel like when they hit their fairway wood, it's a very similar feel and performance of their driver shaft. This has been very hard to come by over the years. When you just take a normal driver shaft and tip it and put it in a fairway wood, that's technology is a little bit different. The center of mass is in a little bit different place. It doesn't always perform like the driver did, and it certainly doesn't feel like that very often. So that goal was very important. The second most important thing that we wanted to do was make sure that this shaft was able to get the ball up in the air for players with lesser swing speeds that hadn't been able to hit a 3-wood in years because it can't go any further than their 5-wood. So we needed a shaft that felt like the driver and would launch it up in the air nice and high so that some of these players could find their 3-woods again. Instead of hitting a low running 3-wood, they could have some carry back. They could actually fly further than their 5-wood. So the first player I have up here is a +1 player, amateur golfer, senior, very competitive, and you can see this is her normal 3-wood that's up on the screen. She's carrying it almost 180 yards, 179. She is having a club head speed about 82 miles an hour, ball speed up there close to 121. She had a land angle of 31 degrees and a total height of 56 feet in the air. So this thing's coming out pretty low. It's coming out with 3,200 spin, which would be, somewhere up there where I'd have a tour player that would want a ball to run out about that 3,200 spin. But this ball is landing, 180, and it's rolling fairly good. It's getting out there. But she wants to be able to hit some of those longer par threes when she has to play from the back tees. And then she wants to be able to make sure she can get to some of those par fives. So we tried, the first one we put in there was the 19 high. So you can see that got us a little more distance. The dispersion tightened a little bit. She kind of left a couple out to the right, as you can see in that video right there. She was able to, let's get the averages up here for us. There we go. So she was able to get some more club head speed there out of that particular shaft and get that ball speed up. We maintained the spin. The land angle came up. The height went up over 10 feet. So she's about 11 feet higher on that one and immediately started getting some more carry. So she got about 6 more yards of carry, maybe almost 7. And that was a pretty nice improvement. She felt that it was easy to hit. Even when she flared it, she was able to get the distance of her old fairway wood shaft, and she was very pleased with that. We went on and we tried the 19 low shaft. And when we put that one in there, we got a significant bump in what happened. She really jumped up in the yardage now. We got 84 miles an hour. We got 124 ball speed. That's a very nice increase over her original 121. So we got 3 more miles an hour. We were able to now get it out there and carry it 10 more yards. And our land angle to the same 32 that it was before. We got dropped down a little bit more spin, but we've got that height up there at 62 feet over her original 56 feet. So not quite as high as the F19 high, but now we're getting the action that we want. We've got that ball landing out there at 190 and it's releasing and running, and she can, possibly run something out there around 210 up on the front of a par 5 green, and then she can hit the cut. So she decided to hit that cut instead of go with the 19 high with a little bit more spin. She decided if she wanted to hit a cut with this 19 low, she could do that and land it a little bit softer on some of those longer par 3 greens that she has to play. So that's what she went with. She's very pleased. I mean, immediately you can see the benefit of this TPT Red Range shaft because we were able to launch it higher and get it further with more ball speed. That's a pretty exciting development, And that's what I'm seeing in most of the trials that we're doing with this TPT Red Range Fairway Wood shaft. Let's take a look at another one. This fairway wood fitting was an LPGA player that came to me, and she had her fairway wood, her 3-wood, and she just wasn't getting it up in the air. She's just hitting it, and it's only going 58 feet in the air. She's not happy with it. She barely uses it. And she can fly at 205 yards, which she felt like, oh, well, that's pretty good. And then it rolls out. But she just found herself only using it off a tee. And she really wanted something she could hit off the ground. So we put her in. The first trial was with the F19 high. And immediately we got a little more spin, got the ball launching from 9.9 to 11, got her yardage up by a little bit there, about 4 yards, and she was pretty pleased with that. Got her speeds still similar, 90 miles an hour, and very similar ball speed. But just the simple fact that we got a little more spin and got it up in the air helped her carry distance. It didn't really affect her roll distance, but it did help her carry distance a bit, and so she was pleased with that. So we tried the 19 low, and we did see a little bump in club head speed with that and ball speed. Similar spin, a little lower, but we were able to then gain a little bit in yardage, and again, we're at 67 feet, so it was a little bit lower than the 70-foot 19 high that she tried, but way higher than her 58. So we're gaining on it. And so I put in the F19 low so that we could see what would happen if I added a little bit of loft. Went up 0.75 degrees and boom, magic happened. All of a sudden now she's getting at 80 feet in the air. She did gain some ball speed there, but just a touch higher than that 19 low, but we got a little bit better launch the way it was kicking. It even took out some of the spin, and all of a sudden she started pounding out there, averaged 218 yards. She was blown away by this, and now she's got a 3-wood that she can hit off the ground, and she can carry it to almost 220 yards on average. And now she's got something that can play in between her 5-wood hybrids and her driver. So she's flying her driver out there about, 250, right in that range. And she just didn't have a gap until now. And she can roll this ball all the way out to almost 240 yards. So this thing goes right in the bag. It went straight in for the U.S. Open, and she was very pleased with that. This fitting was a very quick one. This was a senior tour player. We had a very specific idea of what we wanted, and he got fully warmed up. We were doing some drivers and some other stuff as well, but he wanted a fairway wood shaft that he could get it to go up there, and take off a little bit higher so that he could actually lower the loft of the fairway wood and then go ahead and hit some nice little slingers in there and get that up to about 255 and then hit it to 260 plus if he wanted to. You can see he came in with his, about 103 miles an hour and was able to carry this about 250, but he felt like that was pretty maxed out and the spin would kind of get away from him on this one. So he hit a few just to show me what it was like, 9,400. It was okay. He just didn't really like the performance he was able to get out of it. So I threw in the 16 high for him just to see what it would do. And we got a lot of spin out of it. The ball went up actually a little bit shorter than what he had. And so I just took that one and I lowered it. Still, we're getting too much spin, and it really just wasn't working for what he wanted. His other shaft would have been better. It was launching it a lot higher, but the spin on that high was just too great for him. So we moved over to the 16 low and just put that in straight away with that lower loft, and bingo, the ball speed went up. He was able to sling him out there. He got it nice and straight. He got his average up there where he could carry it easily 255. You can see he was able to get that 257. Then these up here are the ones he kind of hit some slinging draws on. I think you can see it right there. You can see he hit that one. Feels like he kind of slinging it in there, right in there. I think that one's right there, the one that was the 261. And he wanted that feeling of being able to do that whenever he wanted to. And we were able to get him that with enough kick to get it up in the air, and at the same time that he could feel like he could turn it over and get it running. And so it worked perfectly, and this is where it ended up, and it's in his bag out on the tour right now. With this player, we were looking at 3 different fairway woods that he had. All 3 of them were coming out a bit low. You can see this one, the Ping G that he had, was coming out the highest, and that was close to what we wanted, but the ball speed was fairly low compared to these other 2. But they really weren't getting as high. See, there's a 85, 84, 83. Really wasn't getting the height that he wanted. And we thought, he really wanted to get out there about 250 in the air. So we're not asking for a lot here. And land and kind of roll out just a little bit. Because he's using his 3-wood mostly for distance off the tee or to roll up on a par 5 or something like that. We took the F16 high first. See that one up here. And we'll put that one in there. And you can see immediately we got a little jump of the ball speed that we didn't see down there in the shaft that he had. He was all the way at 147 at 98 miles an hour with that shaft. And then up here, we were able to immediately kind of jump up and kind of catch the other 2 in speed with that 15 high. And you saw we lowered that loft down 0.75 degrees. And so that one worked pretty good. It just really basically got him to the other clubs that he had. We did get it higher. You can see he got it 95, so that was a big plus. We were able to lower the loft, get it higher, get the ball speed back with that Ping G, but it still wasn't doing quite what we want, 246. So we moved on to the Epic Flash and put that same head in there, and then we got a little bit more ball speed. We still kept the same club head speed for the most part, but we got a little more ball speed. We're getting that number that he liked there, that 248 number. We got some height up, not as quite as high as that G, but we did get some height. So we tried his Epic club, and we put the same shaft, same scenario, lowered it 0.75 degrees, and then you see we jumped up in ball speed again. We got the same club head speed, but we did jump up a little bit more in ball speed with this one right there, but we didn't get that distance that we wanted. We got a little bit too much spin out of that Epic. But he did like the way the Epic was hitting. So he liked the way it looked. He liked the way it was sitting on the ground. So I went to the 16 low, and we can see then the ball speed really jumped up there on the average, got a couple extra miles an hour, a tick more on the club head speed, but this just showing that this club's performing better. This shaft's loading better. You can hit it in the middle better. We've got that number we were searching for pretty close to 32. We got it at 31, and now we're up there close to that 250 range with a ball that's 90 feet in the air. You can see that the high shaft was spinning it a little bit more. It sent it higher in the air, and that's why we lost a little bit of that distance. So I got a little too high, a little too much spin. And if we compared it back down, we'll just close all these out. Compare it back down to his Epic at the bottom. And then we see that 150, 242, he gained about 7 yards there, looks like. Yeah, 7 yards in the air, a little bit of ball speed. He was at 91 feet on the average versus 84, so we got that little bit of height for him, and then was able to get it out there just a little bit further.
Now that you've seen these fittings, you can see why I'm so excited that we have this new Red Range Fairway Wood shaft made by TPT. You can now have the same feel in your fairway wood as you've become accustomed to with the TPT feel in your driver. As always, with any of these videos, if you have questions, you can contact us at tptgolf.com.